much.
All right. Okay. Good to meet you. How are you?
Good, good.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. Wow, we got a great, good turnout here. Good
I'm
to
a
see
United
you.
States combat veteran.
All right, thank you for your service. Very, very appreciative. Muchos Podemos. I want to thank everybody for coming and really appreciate your coming out tonight to a great restaurant, Familia, a very important concept in our lives, and that's family. And look at all the pictures here. This is Maria's mom and dad, Dave's mom and dad. Maria, this is your grandparents, yeah, and family members of Dave. I do want to thank Dave and Maria for letting us come here, and I really appreciate the fact that this is the best food I've eaten all week here at the Minimum Wage Challenge. Now I want to say you got to give me the bill, okay? I tried to find something that tasted good and was on the menu, and I do think the purpose of our travel across Illinois, our journey, is there are a lot of folks who are journeying right now in our state. They're very special people. They're moms and dads, especially, who work hard. They work very difficult jobs, some of the hardest jobs in our society. They don't get paid a lot of money. They maybe make the minimum wage, which is $8.25. And our mission is to try and raise the minimum wage in Illinois. And that's why I started today. Woke up around 5 o'clock or so, and I've been to Chicago and Kankakee and Champaign. We went to Decatur and Peoria, and we went to Galesburg. We went all the way up to the Quad Cities, and now here we are in Rock Falls. Can't go wrong with Rock Falls, that's for sure. We like the Rock River. And our mission is to do the right thing for everybody, and that's what community and family are all about. And folks who are making a minimum wage oftentimes have to watch every single penny. You know, this week I got to live on $79 for food and essentials, and I didn't buy aspirin the other day because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't buy a birthday card for my niece because I couldn't afford it. You know, and I think there's a lot of families in Illinois who struggle every week, not just a few days a week like I'm doing, but 52 weeks a year. We've got to be there to really do the right thing. And I think the great movements of our country have not come from the top down. It's not from big shots who maybe have a lot of money. They don't make change. It's everyday people banding together for causes they believe in. And if you shake my hand, you shook the hand of someone who shook the hand of Cesar Chavez. I did that 40 years ago in 1974 in Chicago. I shook his hand. And that night, he always said, "Si se puede," yes we can. But that night he also said, "Juntos podemos," together we can. And we have to remember that, together we can. I believe the minimum wage is the best way to help our economy. A lot of studies have found that when you give more purchasing power, when you raise the wages of folks who are living on the minimum wage, they don't admire money in the bank vault. They spend the money in their local community at restaurants like this, and they also patronize local businesses.
Up in May in Rock Falls. Yeah. I own the local Jimmy John's franchisee.
Yeah, right,
I lived on minimum wage for years when I was a kid, so I know a little bit about that. But my question is this. I waited a long time to open up that because I saw a lot of small businesses close because Illinois hasn't had the best economy. The nation hasn't had the best economy for years. And one of the things I was worried about when I opened it is I was worried Illinois was going to raise taxes higher. I was worried there was going to be greater expenses on my business. Now I've been open. Last week my labor percentage was 35%. I hire a lot of high schoolers, a lot of kids at minimum wage. Over half my staff, probably the first job, is working for me.
Yeah, having a
so
job.
my question is this. When minimum wage goes up and my labor goes even higher, as a restaurant, in my business model, I can't go over 35. I've already been maxed.
Well,
so my question is, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to fire people?
No.
Cut people's hours? How high should I raise my prices?
Well, I'll tell you this. If you pay a decent wage, you keep workers longer, and you don't spend as much time recruiting workers, training workers.
The problem with that theory, and one of my longtime employees is right behind here, is every time I have to pay a high schooler more to wrap a sandwich, my long-term employee, I got a lot of single moms raising kids. My manager of my Dixon store, I own 2, is a single mom raising her son. Every time I have to give a high schooler higher minimum wage, that's less money I have in that labor percentage. that I can give them. They take a pay hit every
well,
time.
Keep in mind there are people in the community who do get a higher wage because of raising the minimum wage. They're more your customers. You want people to
Well, and
come
they're
to your
also going to
restaurant.
get inflation. But I agree that it goes both ways. But my question is, for my position, what am I supposed to do? Do you think I'm going to absorb it all on price increases? I genuinely don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to find out because I own the business. I'm going to have to find out.
The
But
states this year that have raised the minimum wage have had more jobs. And part of the reason is when people have more purchasing power, consumers, they spend more. They don't admire money in the bank vault. Your customers who go to your company or buy at the restaurant, well, they'll have more money to spend, you know?
So basically your solution is I'm going to raise prices and they're going to have enough money to pay for it.
Well, I would say this, the findings of other states that have done this, and including our own, is that more workers stick with their current job if they get a pay raise. You have to spend less money on recruiting.
I mean, that's
and
not
training.
a problem here in a small town. I have applications out the wall. I wish I could hire more kids, but that's not the problem. So I'd just like you to consider when you're preaching this minimum wage hike, you need to have solutions for those of us who are already at the max. There's already a lot of businesses that failed. I don't want to be one of them.
Well, I don't want you to be one of them either, but I think 70% of our American economy are consumer spending. And if consumers have more money, they're going to spend more money, okay? And that's, I think, the ultimate way your company's going to do well. Have more people who can afford to come and spend money, you know?
Thanks for your answer, Governor.
Right?
Thank you.